In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Anakin Skywalker for the Black Series 6-inch line, based upon his appearance from the Phantom Menace. So it's incredible it's taken us this long to probably get arguably the main character for the Phantom Menace in the Black Series line. We're going on 11 years now for the Black Series, and we're just finally now getting the child version of Anakin Skywalker. But, you know, after looking at him, I think it was worth the wait. It's a fantastic action figure. It looks spot on to Jake Lloyd. It is very light in the accessory department. I think he could have came with a lot more than he did. And as far as the deco that's on him, I think they could have done like a dirt wash on him to simulate like how he looks on Tatooine. Instead, he has nice, clean clothes, basically. But, you know, that's something you could correct on your own. For being a premium line, you really shouldn't have to, but it is what it is. It's not the first time we've ran into this with Hasbro. But overall, I'm very happy with this action figure. So what more can I say about it? I've had him on pre-order for a while now. Oftentimes, child action figures don't really sell well in the Hasbro Star Wars line. You can refer to Omega, for example, for a more recent figure. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more along the way as well. With the Acolyte coming out around the corner, I'm sure they're going to make a lot of child action figures from that. And also the Skeleton Crew, or whatever it's called, I'm sure that's going to be a mostly all-child cast as well. So I imagine if Hasbro makes action figures for those will probably peg warm till the end of time, and you'll find them on clearance and they still won't sell. And even if you go back in the past, even throughout the 2000s, I don't think a lot of child action figures sold very well. Boba Fett from Attack of Clones, I think he wasn't the hottest seller at the time either. And I'm trying to think who else. There was that one kid named Zet, I think, from the Revenge of the Sith line. I don't think he sold too well. And even to this day, you can still find him for a decent price. So child action figures typically don't sell very well. And as far as Anakin's concerned, I don't mind that I paid full price for him, because this is a character I really wanted in my collection. We can finally now say we have all the Anakins completed from the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3 now. It's taken us many years, but it's finally here. Of course, there's if you line all three of them up side by side, I'm sure you'll see a huge discrepancy in the time period between them, because like the first Revenge of the Sith Anakin had the painted face, and then the Attack of Clones Anakin had a lot of reused parts from that, and then of course this one here, which is probably going to be the best looking one of the three. And like I said, I think this looks pretty spot on to Jake Lloyd. He's one of those actors for Star Wars. I really hope he gets his justice someday and potentially makes a return to Star Wars in some way, shape, or form. It's really unfortunate what's happened to him over the years, but I really hope that he gets his renaissance at some point. We've seen it with a lot of the other prequel actors and actresses in recent years, so I think Jake Lloyd definitely deserves his time in the sun again with Star Wars. But without saying anything further, let's just go ahead and take a quick look at this package. Star Wars Phantom Menace, Anakin Skywalker. Nice image of him there. There is some Tatooine scenery right there. And a little description about him, about how he was discovered. And he's actually figure number 2 for the Phantom Menace line. For the Black Series, the Phantom Menace has been highly neglected. It's really unfortunate. But for the action figures that Hasbro has done for it up until now, I think they've done a fantastic job. I did review the episode 1 Padme previously on the channel, if you want to check that one out. And I believe figure number 1 was the Deluxe Jar Jar, if I recall correctly. But I would have to go back and check on that. But anyways, let's just take a closer look at Anakin here. So he has a little bit of that smug expression to him. Looks pretty good. They even got some of the freckles on his face, which is incredible. small detail you wouldn't really think about. Hair looks good. He has kind of that bowl cut. And he has some nice highlights in the hair. Has some streaks in it as well. Looks really good. It's just draped over his eyebrows. As for the rest of his outfit, it's pretty normal, I guess. It's just a standard tunic. Not a whole lot to say about it, but it is nicely detailed. Like I said, I just wish that Hasbro did a little bit of a wash on him, stimulate Tatooine, and especially since they included the backpack. This is supposed to be based upon his appearance, specifically when him and Qui-Gon are heading back to the ship to get ready to leave Tatooine. Now we need a Shmi Skywalker for the Black Series at some point, but I highly doubt that will happen. You can barely get a 3 3/4 inch figure of her. Does have the wrappings around his legs there. Pretty good. There's some nice detail in that. His belt there, I suppose. And his shirt underneath his tunic there. He does have some pouches on the back here. Really good. In terms of his articulation, he is super articulated. His head's on that barbell there where you have some articulation at the base of the neck, and of course at the head. The hinge shoulders and elbows, which the elbows go past 90 degrees a little bit, so you can see. He does have the hinge wrists joined at the torso, which is kind of stiff. So he does have some of the newly articulated legs because he doesn't have the swivel cut at the thigh at all, which we haven't had too many action figures with that so far. But he does have the hinge tips, but just no swivel cut there. I've heard various reasons why that could be. Some say it's Hasbro cutting back. I've heard other claims where Hasbro has the technology now where they don't really need that, and you can get the legs in any range possible, which I could see some truth to that. It's not bad though, especially a character like this. Do you really need him in extremely dynamic poses? Probably not. But he does have the hinge knees and rocker ankles. In terms of accessories, he's, like I said, he's very light. All he has is this backpack, which is not on his back at first. And you have to be very careful about putting it on. And in fact, I don't know if I really want to take it off for this video because it's a little tricky to get off. Let's see here. Well, actually, it's not as bad. It does have a little bit of flex to it, so it's not the worst. But nothing to really say about that. He has this, almost looks like a flashlight there, and then he has this little compartment. And you can't open this up at all, as far as I can tell. Yeah. This would have been a great opportunity for Hasbro to actually give us a backpack, where you can actually put something inside of it. Maybe Anakin could have included a tool as well, like one he's using to work on C-3PO or Hydro Spanner or something like that, just to give a little bit more value. But I mean, the backpack looks good. It's nicely sculpted. It's a very smooth finish on top. It has a leathery look to it, which is pretty good. Oftentimes, during this sequence, we kind of see Anakin with just the one strap over him like that. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about this action figure. I will bring out his TVC counterpart, which is based upon a different appearance, just to give you some indication of the evolution of Anakin over the years. I think this is the TVC figure there was the last child Anakin we got before this Black Series one. So it tells you how long it's been in between figures. And I do have this guy reviewed on the channel. He was one of the very first action figures I reviewed on the channel back when I was deciding that I wanted to go all in on YouTube. So it's been about 2 years now since I reviewed him. It was, yeah, April of 2022 actually. So if you haven't looked that far back on the channel, I would recommend checking it out. You can see how the channel has evolved over the years, or the last few years. You can definitely see Hasbro's come a long way with the overall sculpt and appearance of the action figures. So would I recommend the Phantom Menace Anakin for your collection? I totally would. If you're a fan of Anakin Skywalker, you're a fan of the Phantom Menace, it's a must-have for your collection. It's an excellent action figure. Sure, it could have some tweaking here and there, but overall, it's really good. Now, if you're patient about it, I do suspect this will be an action figure that will go on sale eventually. So if you don't want to spend $24.99 for it, I don't think you'll have to. I suspect it'll probably go on clearance. Like I said, child characters and Hasbro Star Wars typically don't sell very well, and I don't think Anakin will be any exception. Going back to the Phantom Menace line, I don't think Anakin sold very well at that time either. And of course, all the other child characters we've had over the years since typically didn't sell very well, and I imagine it's not going to change anytime soon. Figure looks spot on the Jake Lloyd, and this is probably the best Jake Lloyd appearance we've gotten from Hasbro Star Wars over the years. Nice to see him get some justice with an excellent action figure. Overall, I'm very happy to have this. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some of the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.